Oh, hi everybody, this is DearMamaSal and we are live on a Friday evening, which means it's time for smile time. I nearly knocked the computer over there. That would have been a smile. So I hope you're doing well. I hope you had a good afternoon. For those of you who missed the lunchtime broadcast, we were demonstrating how to make fruit roll-ups. And these are the ones that I made during the week. Hi, Jody. And I want to tell you, they are really good. And chewy. So this one was the orange banana one. Something else I think. It's got lime in it as well because I lemon in it as well. So really tasty. And Jody, you asked me how long did it take to dry them out? I put them, remember that one that I strained during the broadcast? It's not quite ready, Jody. It's still a little loose, all right? But it's just about done. Another hour or so, it'll be done. So, and it's been on at 150 quietly. Just, I'm not going to put it back on again because it's too hot in here, but just so you know, so about 6 hours will do it. If you've strained it, will. And it's worth doing. For those of you who are new, welcome. And Jody, by the way, is our admin. And Friday is our smile time, otherwise known as the Friday Funnies and Factoids. And I want to thank Jody, who puts them together for us. And we've added the factoids in there because we decided we like to learn things all the time. I've always believed that there are three great things that keep you balanced and going forward. And one of them is to learn, which is what we do on a Friday lunchtime. One of them is to laugh, which we do on a Friday evening, thanks to Jody. And the third one is to stay grounded, which is our Soul Sunday broadcast that we do. And so, hi, Jamie, good to see you. And so feel free to watch and participate if you want to. Just remember that the broadcast goes on after the broadcast itself. It stays up on YouTube. So if you type anything in the comments, I will remove the typed version, but if I talk about it during the broadcast, it will stay there. So if you don't want me to talk about it, just put a note at the end going, so it's just for the room. They can see it, but I won't talk about it. Okay. So what is DearMamaSal? We're a group of incredibly kind and generous people who get together to support one another, to help us cope with our love, our life, and all our other problems. And it's an ever-changing group of people, and we like it that way. It's great. Different people come in and out of our lives. Somebody once said, people come into our lives for a reason, for a season, or for a lifetime, right? And we've noticed that as well within DearMamaSal, and we're quite happy. If you have a topic about which you'd like me to speak, please send it to dearmamasal@gmail.com. I pride myself in getting to the emails and answering them. If I ever miss one, please don't take it personally. It means I clean missed it. Just send me another one. And I also try to do the same with all the comments that are left on the videos. So just so that you know. And we're trying something new today. What I did was after the video of the lunchtime broadcast, I took it down. I edited out just the bit about the actual demonstration that we did and put that up on its own. So you don't have to watch 2 hours of stuff if you just only want to watch the bit that was about the learning. So the other thing is, please make sure you follow us here on YouTube and by hitting the subscribe button. And if you hit the bell, make sure you let them know you want all the notifications. So if I do an extra broadcast or something special, you'll get notification of it. I am all the normal broadcast platforms, Instagram and all the rest of it. The only thing is on Instagram is the only one where I am not just DearMamaSal. long story short, somebody stole the name before I could register it. So on Instagram and only Instagram, I'm the real DearMamaSal, all one word. But all the others, I'm just DearMamaSal. And today we're going to laugh. And I'm hoping that you will make sure that you follow us on, hi Isabel, follow us on Facebook and on Twitter. Facebook we use as the group's sort of notice board, you know. Not quite sure what that was. Are you guys hearing me okay? Let me just have a look here. Oh, it's on the wrong microphone. Just hold on a second. Let me see if I can change it. Let's hope I don't ruin it. Okay, can you still hear me? It didn't automatically connect for some reason. Can you still hear me? I hope. There's the delay. Okay, good. Thank you, Jamie. Just the answer I needed. All right, so I have no idea what I was saying right then. Oh, if you have a topic about which you'd like me to speak, that's right. Write to me at dearmamasal@gmail.com. And please make sure you let us know if you've got a birthday coming up. We're trying to rebuild our database of birthdays, and that's the way you can help us make sure that we recognize you is to keep us informed. I don't think we've got one in the near future, but we'll double check that for Sunday. I don't know what it's telling me. For some reason it's not connecting properly. Why? I have no idea. Okay, I'm going to put them back in and then open them up again. Maybe that will help. They are fully charged because I put them on to charge as soon as I finish the last broadcast. So that's really strange that they are dropping in and out. So maybe I'll just keep it like this for now. So here we start with the Friday funnies and factoids. And thanks again to Jody for doing this for us. All right, so here's the first one. My wife and I always compromise. I admit I'm wrong, and she agrees. I found one of the most startling things to say to a man is, "You're right." Yeah, it really shuts them up in a hurry. They're not used to that. You know, or you could be right. Yeah. All right, so here we go. It's another great day, and I'm so ready for another big day of washing my hands and looking out of the window. How many of you have been out and about now and been out in the big wide world? And the point, you know, we put this comment up a couple of weeks ago, but remember that the relaxation does not mean that the virus is over. It means we've got enough room for you now in ICU, except if you are living in Texas. Apparently that's getting a bit, maybe we haven't got room for you in ICU anymore. So please continue to be careful. Be very careful. Yes, in California, you need to be very careful as well, Jamie. So please make sure that you continue to wash your hands and continue to only go out if you have to, because you'll be safer that way, and I prefer to keep you around. Jody is saying, I was out on Wednesday and wanted to come right back home. Yes, I know you got a bit scared, didn't you, Jody, of people because they didn't wear masks to protect you or themselves. And yeah, it must have been very frightening for you. How many of you relate to this one? Yeah, Florida, Arizona, and there's another one. Texas, Florida, Arizona, and California. Yep, that's right. That's the four of them that are causing a problem at the moment. And yet, it's funny, it depends who you listen to, right? Have you noticed that? It depends which news channel you're listening to. I heard the vice president today say everything was absolutely fine. The only problem was there was a graph showing that the, that the number of cases was doing this, and he's saying, no, it's absolutely fine. You're going, that doesn't look very fine to me, but maybe I'm not understanding it properly. Here's a nice quote. It says, sometimes I just want someone to hug me and say, I know it's hard. You're going to be okay. Here's a coffee and $5 million. And I think quite often. All right, so Jamie is saying that Florida has now got 9,000 cases for just one day. It's going to get way worse, Jamie. As I was talking about this at lunchtime, it's going to be, you're probably going to see things like 90,000 in a day pretty soon. The more they test, the higher those numbers are going to go. And from what I heard earlier, it could be 10 times worse than we are seeing. And so be prepared for that. Don't get scared of it. Be prepared. And it's just because there's going to be more and more testing. And therefore, we're going to find out what the real numbers are, and they're going to be horrific. And I don't know if I understood it correctly, but I saw on the news that the European Union now doesn't want to accept any US travelers. How about that one? That's a turn for the books, isn't it? All right. I hate it when people text me with a K. I'm very rarely in the mood to talk about potassium, which is the character for potassium is K. Yeah, so I just wondered how you guys are feeling. Do you feel that you're getting a bit more brave? Do you feel that you're getting more scared? How is it for you guys? I must admit that what I'm trying to do, because I am able to, because I'm retired, I'm trying to sort of say, okay, you're allowed to go out one day a week. And in that day, I do a lot of different things, but it's just like, but if I possibly can, I don't even do things on that day. But if I have to go out, I choose one day and then lump everything in with it. So I'm only out on that one day every week, which that's the best I can do. Jamie, how do you feel about opening up the spa? Because I know you were saying at lunchtime that they're going to be opening up your spa again. Is it your spa, or is it, I know you work at the spa, but is it yours, or do you work with somebody else? And I did hear you say that you're doing very strict social distancing and keeping everybody safe. Jody's saying, I'm grateful that we've been preparing during these past few months because I think it's the training period for what is in store. Yeah, so that's the same thing as I'm saying that, if you thought the price of meat was bad now, it's probably going to skyrocket even more. I was horrified. I was thinking about buying some meat for something, and I just saw the price of it, and I went, I think for just a regular thing of beef, it was like up to $56 Canadian. And it was just like a piece like this. It wasn't like a cow, just a piece like this, $56 Canadian. That's what I wondered. Yes, Jamie is an independent contractor working at a spa. That makes a lot of sense. Okay. So nothing says I mean business like using a cart at the liquor store. Have any of you found that you are drinking less or maybe drinking more because of the pandemic? I just got an invitation to one of my neighbor's birthday party on July the 4th. And that sort of shocked me. Hi, Beth. Good to see you, honey. And by the way, for those of you who weren't here at the lunchtime one, Beth confirmed at lunchtime that she actually has already had the virus. Both she and Charles got it back a few weeks ago. And I think that's the first one of my viewers that I've heard of that actually contracted it. So Beth, we're glad you're on the mend, and we're glad that you continues to keep us informed. In January you had it. Wow, so that was before all the hoopla. So definitely it was around in January. Yeah, Beth. But they didn't know what it was, right? Or maybe suspected. Did your doctors suspect what it was? Hi, Angela. How are you doing? Update me. Did you sell the house? I think you were selling it. I'm not sure if it actually went through. And did you find somewhere new to live if you did? Hi, Nyasha. Good to see you. And how are things in Trinidad and Tobago? All right, so Jamie is saying about opening up her spa. Yes, it's taking precautions myself and for the clients. They will be wearing a mask. I will be wearing my N95. Does anybody want to see what an N95 looks like? And a medical face shield and an apron. Wow, that's amazing. All right, so Angela's saying her work wanted her to go back on Monday and her doctor said no way. Yeah, interesting. All right, so Beth said they just told her in January when she got that virus that there was a strange virus going around. They didn't really know about it yet. Yeah, so you were one of the early ones. Wow. And did you say that you were laid low for 3 weeks, which for you is unheard of, right? And while we're waiting for that answer, I came, I saw, I forgot what I was doing. I retraced my steps. Oh, I know this one. Got lost on the way back, and now I have absolutely no idea what's going on. Do any of you relate for that? Beth is saying, I was sick for 8 days and thought I was going to die. Wow. So Angela's saying that her doctor wrote a note for her to be off until August the 3rd. Now, just so that I understand, this is because he doesn't want you going back because of the pandemic, or is this because of something else about which we don't know? I'm not quite sure what the reason is. Yeah, and you'll be taking your temperature every day. But if I understand it correctly, Jamie, and again, correct me, guys, where I am wrong, if you've got to the point that you are running a temperature, you've already had it for some time, right? And you've spread it for some time. Yes, Angela's saying it's because I'm high risk. You know, Angela, I found out that I'm at even higher risk than I thought. I thought I was high risk because of my age. Yeah, I'm over 70. Because of my history of smoking was another high risk factor. My, my history of lung problems. You know, I've had bronchitis and stuff a lot. So, you know, I looked at all of those and I knew I was high risk. And I'm pre-diabetic, that's the fourth one. And yesterday, I think it was, I saw that this morning I heard that the other factor that they're seeing is dangerous, is obesity. And I'm obese. I mean, I know I'm gorgeous, but yeah. I am clinically obese, and therefore that puts me at even higher risk. So it's not sensible for me to go out unless I have to, really. And that's, I've learned to do that. I am definitely noticing, though, in my little neighborhood here, people are getting less and less concerned about it. Yeah. Jamie's saying it's going to be slow for her for the first little bit because she's got a lot of clients who are high risk. So the question is, can you go to them, seeing as you're an independent contractor? And the reason I say that, Jamie, is that, you know, it's like, I think that smart entrepreneurs today will say, I know that You don't want to come into the spa, but would you like the spa to come to you? I think would be quite good marketing. Interesting. So Angela's saying that Nevada, she's in Las Vegas, that Nevada has now mandated masks everywhere. Yes, and so it should be. Should be, absolutely. But you know what I've noticed though, Angela, and I don't know if you've noticed that or anybody else has noticed that people seem to misunderstand the reason for wearing a mask. They all think that I'm wearing a mask so so that I am protecting myself, and not the other way around. The reason I'm wearing a mask is to protect you, the person that I'm talking to. But it's funny how many people don't get that. All right, so Niesh is saying Trinidad and Tobago, which is where she's from. And those are little islands just off the northeast coast of South America. She's saying Trinidad and Tobago is all right, I would say, Mama Sal. I've been watching on about the cases of the pandemic abroad, and it's been getting worse. People are diagnosed more and succumbing to it. Yeah, it's going to happen. And, as I was saying at lunchtime, just be prepared. Arizona didn't take this pandemic seriously. No, I know they didn't. And guess what? They will need to now. But I heard something today that I thought was relevant as well. Is the local pub in northern Montana, that maybe has a maximum of 20 people in it at any one time, the same risk as the packed nightclub in LA? You understand the difference. So I think it is a case of it depends where you live. But I'm glad, Angela, that they've continued to protect you. That's really important. I will tell my kids I'll do something in a minute. When I say that, I really mean, please forget. I found, at one stage of my life, I inherited 3 kids. And, well, that's before, I ended up with the girls. But what I found, though, was I had to really check myself, because the children would ask a really simple question, which from their perspective was, are you busy? I'm going insane, and they're going, Sal, are you busy? And, instead of going, not too busy to talk to you, I let my adult being, get in the way quite often. And I think if I could change anything, that would probably be something I'd like to change. All right, how about this one? Jody found this, and it says, singing in the shower is all fun and games until you get shampoo in your mouth. Then it becomes a soap opera. Jamie is saying, California, even the restaurants are allowed to dine in. Some are not opening up for dine-in yet. All right, but you've got a wonderful climate. I think this is going to be the interesting thing, is not what we do in the summer. What do we do in the winter? Angela is saying it's spiking a lot in a lot of places, which is scary. Supposedly, it should have gone away with the heat. Yeah, right. Little did they. The same thing, Angela, I was talking about it at lunchtime, which is if you're waiting for a vaccine, be aware that we're still waiting for a vaccine for HIV, that virus. So, it may never come. They'll find other ways around it. But the other thing I warned about is, even if they say that they've put billions of dollars behind the manufacture of one particular vaccine, we don't even know if it's going to work. But they'll be flogging it. You know what I mean? They're going to be promoting it because they put billions of dollars behind it, and they'll want to get rid of the stock. But doesn't necessarily mean it's going to work. So please be extra careful. How many of you have felt this quite regularly of late? I'm just going to stick an out of order sticker on my forehead and call it a day. I had that happen to me about 3 days ago when my feet started to really swell. And, it was just ridiculous. I could hardly walk. I'm pleased to tell you that I did all the things that Beth told me to. Beth, I managed to get my bed at a really good angle so that but I remember you saying lie on the floor with your feet on the wall. I managed to do that on my bed, but I've got one of those beds that adjusts. And what I found was that normally, that where I put my feet lifts up, and so does the bit where I put my head. But what I found is that if I put my head this end, this bit comes up at an even bigger angle. So now at night, I am actually sleeping. You'd laugh if you could see me. I'm sleeping with my feet up here, Beth, and my head down here. It's quite an interesting angle. But the good news is, hi, Chloe. The good news is it's beginning to work along with the other things that I've been doing. So I actually, for the first time in 3 days, I think, I can sort of move my feet without it feeling really weird. Hi, Sandy. Good to see you. So, and interestingly enough, I think those of you who know that Judy gave birth to little baby Leah this week, and just before she gave birth, she and I had equally swollen feet. And one of the things that we all need to do, obviously, is hydrate a lot more. But when you've got that much water being retained in your body, it's contra to your thinking. You think I'm trying to get rid of water, not take it in. But what I'm making sure is every time I pass water, I'm filling up with water as well. Hi, Sharon. Good to see you as well. All right. So it's like I'm making sure that I'm putting in more water than I'm releasing. That's, I think, the only thing I can do right now. This is a cute one for any of you who've ever been a mother. I'm certain you'll relate to it. With 3 kids in the house, somebody is always crying. And right now, that's me. Okay, now this is, yeah, Beth is reminding us that the more water you drink, the more water you will release. Now, Beth, correct me again where I'm wrong, but I did hear that you can take on too much water. Now, maybe Jamie will be able to help us on that one as well. Actually, Beth, you probably as well, that it is possible to actually take in too much water for your system when you have this problem. Niesha is saying, I'm so happy to report that we're no longer on lockdown. This is in Trinidad and Tobago. All establishments, facilities, and government offices have reopened for business. There you go. And Bernice is saying, Mama Sal, ask doctor if any of your meds side effects or adverse effects for edema. My father-in-law had edema for a long time because his high blood pressure medication. Yeah, and they switched it and it went away. My doctor is aware that I've got the problem. And I actually do have diuretic pills, but I only take them in an emergency when I really get a bad swelling. And I only take half every day. And there's a good reason for that. If I take a full one, I might as well not bother to leave my bathroom. You know what I mean? It's just like insane. So, which is not funny, although it may sound funny. Now, this is one of those questions. Beth is saying Mama Sal is tough as nails. Not really. I'm an absolute wuss, really. You know that, Beth. Here's a nice quote from a teenager. Why put cookie dough in an oven when you could put it in your mouth? I like that logic. And then this one, which I totally relate to. I haven't tried yoga, but I bent over to pick up my keys off the floor, so I'm sure I wouldn't like yoga. One of these days I really must do a video of me trying to do what the yoga instructor is trying to get me to do. Yeah, I'll turn the voice down. I'll turn the voice down so I'm not contravening any copyright. You won't be able to hear the voice, but I probably will just talk my way through it. But yeah, I probably will have to edit it out quite a bit because I really is quite funny because they seem to move from one position to another in a heartbeat, and that takes me about 3 minutes. I don't know if anybody relates to that. Oh, good night, Sharon. Good to see you. All right, Niasha's saying that some of the people over there where she is refuse to wear masks. They also, due to the numerous requests from our citizens to our government to come back home, the number of cases have gone up. Yep, absolutely. And they will go up everywhere in the world, I think. Except those countries that really did this well. I'm hoping that Canada will be one of those. Jamie's saying after the day the client got the message, I'll be calling them in a week and 2-week follow-up to see if they're feeling any symptoms of COVID. Excellent service. All right, it's because it will be your responsibility to track that progression, I guess. What is the purple thing on your wall behind you? This one. Is this the one? Ah. It's an orchid. It is Dougie's Mother's Day present to me. He knows I absolutely love orchids. And so every now and then he buys me a magnificent looking orchid. And actually two of the flowers are just dying off now. But this spray is beautiful. This one here, just wonderful. And what I do is I just mist it every morning and every evening. It looked like a bear on the wall. Okay. I could see what I'm going, I don't have anything purple. Purple's not a color I have. And then I looked up and I went, oh yeah, the orchid. Got it. So Bernice, just remind me to send you a picture of my craft room so you can see how I am doing in there. I'm going to spend a little time in there tomorrow just to tidy up the desk because I've got to the stage now where I can tidy up the desk. And then when I've done that, I'll take a picture for you. But can you remember it with all the boxes that were over sort of my head height? I wonder if you can remember that. I've still got some boxes in there, but most of them have gone now. It's been quite a job, I must say. And I'm about halfway through the studio as well. So I'm pretty proud of that. It's taken a lot of work. But you know what struck me the other day is, I need to stop unpacking and I need to start living. I keep thinking, if I suddenly got sick, I would regret that I didn't do any artwork or something. So I think I need to start doing some. And maybe I need to record some, like on a Friday afternoon or something, so that it will make me stop and do it. That's what I'm thinking about. And this one I love, which is research is what I'm doing when I don't know what I'm doing. How many of you only look at the instructions when everything else fails? Except the only time I look at instructions, and I've got to be quite honest, I'm one of those people, build it first and work out why you got extra screws later. But the one thing I must say, that if I've got something that looks like it could harm me, if I don't get it right, it could take off a hand, then I do read the instructions. So That's a weird thing about me. But most of the time, if it's something from IKEA, I just build it first, and pray a lot. And I hide the bits that I have left over pretty well. Do any of you relate to that? I keep them. I don't throw them away. Somewhere in my life, I have this one box, and it's called leftovers from IKEA. I've got quite a collection over the years of different bits and pieces from IKEA. Now, I know some of you are going, Sal, don't you count them first to make sure you got the right number? And then when you finish, there shouldn't be any left. I know that. But I've had some IKEA here for 30 years. I didn't do too bad a job. Yes, Bernice is saying I could actually build something new out of it. Yeah, except it's mostly nuts and bolts. Now, there's a challenge, Bernice. The challenge is to actually build something from all the nuts and bolts, and the Allen keys and things like that. That would be interesting, wouldn't it? All right, so how many of you relate to this one? Nice one, Jody. Based on how I react when the toast pops out of the toaster, I will never be cool walking away from an explosion. Now, I want to tell you, if you ever see Yvonne react to some quick, like how the ice drops out of my ice maker every now and then. If Yvonne were in this house and that happened, she'd be through the ceiling. It's just like she has an incredible reaction. Hi, Jonas. Good to see you. I'm good, thank you. And yourself, Jonas, how are you? All right, so some of you will relate to this one, and make sure you thank Jody for it. I automatically start swinging my feet like a little kid when I'm sitting on a chair that's too tall for me. Yeah, do you also put one hand each side and then swing your feet, So you actually take balance like on a bar stool and then swing your feet. Yep, I've done that. It's funny the things that you do, really, when you think about it. And some of you would have seen the videos I put up, and the one I put up that I think was number 4 of Muggy. I did, cut it into 4 pieces for you, but I want to tell you, I did everything I knew how to hang on to my tongue. Well, it wasn't my tongue it was the words. I did not want the words getting, how they run across your tongue and you're going, close your mouth before they drop off and they hear what you're thinking. Yeah, I really had to control that. Keep your mouth shut, don't say anything. All right, what did I miss? Is it bad? I was happy about it. Okay, hang on, I've got to go back. All right, so Beth saying, my old store manager that treated me like a dog barking orders got fired from her new store for treating people badly. I kept my cool with her and I knew she would get what she deserved on her own. And so then Beth says, is it bad that I feel happy about it? No, I don't. I think it's human, Beth. I don't think you need to spread the word to the other people necessarily, but, in reality, I think it's human. It's called karma. And you're right. If you give people enough rope, they will hang themselves 9 times out of 10. I don't mean that literally. But you know what I mean? If she was rude to people, how did she leave your store? Or did you move? Beth, you'll be surprised how many people have absolutely no idea how to treat adults. They have never done any management training, and therefore they treat adults the way they would talk to children. Have you noticed that? That's not the way you talk to adults. But I'm amazed how many people get into jobs and have supervisory level positions and have never been trained about management at all, and literally treat people like they're 5-year-olds. And, I actually will say to them, is there a reason why you're treating me like a 5-year-old? You do have children? Because I'm not a child, I'm an adult. And I don't know about you, but nothing, well, there are quite a few things actually that get up my goat, a lot more than that, but it's just amazing to me how many people. Oh, and she had anger issues as well. Yeah, very useful. Yeah. All right, how do you like this one? I know Jody would have loved it, but it says, my bank called because they noticed highly suspicious activity on my charge account. It was for a gym membership. Oh, I have no idea what the temperature is in this room right now. Okay, it is 84 in American. And that would be, let me see. Yeah, it's about 29 degrees, but it feels way worse. Feels like I've got the oven on right now. I'm literally, yeah, never mind. And the worst thing is I've got a fan on. And no air conditioning, obviously. All right, Jonas is saying, that's great news for you, Beth. I know a few people like that, and it's easy to let it get to you. But good to hear you kept a level head and let it all play out. Yeah, I agree. It'll happen. That's the manager that threw her keys at me and that hit my face. She went to a different store. Yeah, that's good. Good idea. Yeah. Yeah, beware of anybody who throws things, please. I hate it when people pour my cereal. They don't know how much I want. They don't know my life. They don't know what I've been through. How many of you eat cereal for dinner or later? I find that the best time for me to eat cereal is as a late night snack. And sometimes I don't even bother to put milk on it. I just eat cereal. Now, do any of you know Stephen Fry, the British actor and comedian? Oh, that's interesting. Beth's saying the same thing. I eat it at night and dry. Yep, good. So Stephen Fry said, I don't need you to remind me of my age. I have a bladder that does that for me. Jonas factoid. He played Oscar Wilde. How about that? We're going to get to the factoids in a minute. All right, now this one I think is very clever. It says raisin cookies that look like chocolate chip cookies are the main reason I have trust issues. I think that's cute. Now, Sandy's saying that she can't eat cereal at night anymore because cereal is really hard for her insulin. It always causes spikes. Well, I want to tell you, my blood sugar this morning was way higher than it's been. Way higher. It's just like, I can't believe that was my blood sugar this morning, but I enjoyed, what did I have? Puffed rice, and I didn't have sugar on it. I just had puffed rice and half a banana. Right up there. But every now and then, you're allowed, right? How about, do any of you relate to this one? Oh, that's a good question. Do you pour your cereal first or your milk first? I've never heard of anybody who pours their milk first. How would you know how much milk to put in if you haven't put the cereal in, Jonas? Good question, though. Which makes me think maybe Jonas pours the milk in first. It's the same thing if you ask any Brit, do they put tea milk in their tea or tea in their milk. It's very interesting. Yeah, I don't know anybody that puts milk in first. All right, Nia's just saying, I'm so sorry, Beth, that you've been treated unkindly, but in my view, the kind ones always get taken advantage of. I'm learning so much of what not to do from you guys. Keep strength, Beth. Yes, but you know something? You also don't hear her talk about revenge in any way, all right? She just knows it is what it is, and it'll play out. All right, so Jonas is saying, I do know people who will put milk in first. And for some reason, it's just not the same. I quite agree. No milk, Beth says. I'm triggered with milk today. Oh, yes. Am I allowed to talk about it, Beth? Okay, so Beth sent a picture. And wait a minute. Oh, I don't have my phone here. Otherwise, I would show you. Where's my phone? I normally bring it with me to do a broadcast. Oh, well, never mind. There were 4-gallon jugs of milk, of which 3 were whole and 1 was splattered all over the floor. You know, and I went, oh, that's my girl. Did you hear I did that in my car, Beth? I took hang on. I took this full of ice cubes and milk, and that was fine, and I put it in the car, and then I didn't see it, but somewhere as I was traveling, it fell over, and all that milk spilled out, luckily into the cardboard box that it was in. And luckily I have leather seats, because otherwise my car would smell horrific. And I immediately just took the whole of the cardboard box and put it outside for 4 days to dry off. Yeah, I remember it quite well. Now, this was me this morning. Me and my bed are perfect for each other, but my alarm clock keeps trying to break us up. I got a wrong number an hour before I was meant to get up this morning. I hate that, don't you? You know, it's just like, really? How can you do that to me? Oh, Beth is saying, oh no, we are the same. Did you drop a jar of pickles today as well? That was the first. No, I didn't drop a jar of pickles today. Don't even tempt me, Beth. Please. But I did break 2 glass things yesterday. It was really weird. Jody, you know that you were doing some research into the antihistamine I was taking and recommended that I change onto another one. You remember that? I want to tell you that I've been taking that other one that begins with a D all the time. And today I took one of the other ones because I couldn't find the ones that began with D. And look at me. I've been sniveling and my eyes have been running all day. So I think I might be allergic to that antihistamine. I wonder if that's possible. But, you know, literally, I don't know if you can hear it, but my throat's sort of half, half closed up and everything. I'm going, maybe it's that pill I'm allergic to that causes such a problem. You know, I take it so I won't have a problem and end up with a bigger one. Anyway, so that's what I wondered. All right, so how about this one? Dear Friday, I'm so glad we're back together. I'm sorry you had to see me through Monday to Thursday, but I swear I was thinking of you the whole time. All right, so Bernice is saying, hubby is allergic to fresh fruits and vegetables. Really? I've heard people being allergic to certain fresh fruits and vegetables, but not all of them. Wow. Jonas is saying, if the idea of being kind seems so foreign to them, it probably means they're victims who haven't been shown how to be treated properly. I agree with you. The only thing you can do for those people is to lead by example and really think sadly for them rather than badly. That's, you know, it's wonderful that you have grown that much, Jonas, that you can see that people, the people who treat people badly were treated badly themselves. That's why, you know, they're sort of doing what they know. And the other thing is, if they lose their temper, they're overwhelmed. We know that. And if they, you know, it's really sad when you think about it. And so one of the things, I said this once when I was doing, I know more than once, I'm lying. I said this many times when I was on stage, that do you all know the life and soul of the party type person, of which I used to be one? You know, they literally walk in and, yeah, you all know they arrived. And, you know, it's funny because I said, if you actually talk to most of them, you will find out that they're actually quite shy people. That's my experience anyway. And, you know, that they've learned to come out talking because that sort of keeps people away a bit. It's a very interesting defense mechanism. And so, you know, not all people that are the life and soul of the party are necessarily confident people. And I, you know, I wonder if any of you have found that or any of you agree with it. Jonas is saying kindness is reciprocal, but sometimes people have a hard time accepting it and they don't know how to take it when somebody is kind to them. Very, very true. I've had that problem with a number of people who are struggling, and, you know, you try to help them and they say no. And I said, would you please stop insulting me? You know, I get my jollies out of helping people. So, you know, do me a favor, just say yes. All right, how many of you relate to this one? The biggest lie I tell myself is, I don't need to write that down, I'll remember. Yeah. All right, so Bernice is saying, I have to really clean or go cook or cook them really good. He's actually allergic to pollen, which is impossible to take off unless it's cooked at a certain temperature. Interesting. I didn't know that you could get rid of pollen by cooking it. Ah, Beth is saying, I had one customer bring in all the carts from outside. I was shocked and I bought him a drink. Isn't that nice? Yeah. There are nice people in the world. You just got to watch out for them. No, here we start with the animal factoids. And if you find these interesting and would like more stuff like this, let us know, because this is a new venture for us. It goes under the heading of Did You Know? Did you know that koala bear fingerprints, are as close to humans? In fact, they are so close to humans that they could taint a crime scene. The prints are so similar when it comes to the distinctive loops and arches that we have in our fingerprints, that in Australia, police feared that a criminal investigations might have been hampered by koala prints. Did you know that? I didn't. Okay, so Bernice is saying, hubby chokes on a regular fresh apple, but he's fine with applesauce. Oh, and doctor said it's because applesauce is cooked to a certain point. Okay, interesting. I'm still trying to find out, why did I love garlic all my life, but when I hit menopause, I was allergic to it? Go figure that one. Just, you know, my hormones changed, and then suddenly I was allergic to garlic. So did you know, in terms of animals, that parrots will selflessly help each other out? Researchers have discovered that colorful birds will voluntarily help each other to obtain food rewards and perform selfless acts, according to a 2020 study published in Current Biology. I didn't know that. Okay, Jonas is saying, and sometimes people have a hard time telling what genuine selfless kindness is. Sometimes someone just appears to be nice to you, to use you in some sort of way for their own advantage. Oh yeah, we've all met that person. And Bernice is saying, I'll ask dermatologists at my next appointment. She might know. Yes, it'll be very interesting to find out what it is about the pollen. Let us know. Jonas says it's only altruism if the other person expects nothing in return. Otherwise, it's glorified manipulation. I always say, Jonas, you probably heard me say it many times. Hi, Benj, good to see you. And congratulations, Benji. How's the little ear today? No more jaundice. I know everybody's going to want to know all about her. Yeah, I heard she was home and she's healthy. That's the main thing. And so is Mommy, right? The really cute pictures I saw of the girls and her today in between the broadcasts, they looked really wonderful. And is it even noisier in the house now, or? Have you had any sleep since the birth? She was born on the 20th. So she's a week old tomorrow, right? She's an angel, less crying than her sisters. After the twins, everything is easy. Yeah, you know something? Yeah, that is so true, isn't it? Judy's doing most of the work this time. I have it easy. Yeah. Well, she is such a trooper. I know that you appreciate that. You know, I need you all to know that Judy not only, you know, gave birth, got rushed to OR, got home, then had to rush back to hospital with baby Leah. But in the meantime, still is producing video for you, for people. You know, she's just amazing. But I do really have to say, Benji, I have never seen anybody who drops fully mature dolls. You know, you never have newborns to me. Newborns have a look about them, and your babies never look like they're newborn. They look like they are just a doll that happened to get into the picture somewhere. How you produce such beautiful looking babies is beyond my comprehension. And I have a question for you, Benj. Do you already have the picture that will go on your staircase? And for those of you who don't know what I'm talking about, Benji and Judy's staircase have beautiful black and white pictures of all the children as, you know, when they were very young. And, you know, they're beautiful and they're all framed beautifully the same. And, you know, it's just like you go up there and there's this incredible gallery of pictures of the newborn children. And I think it's such a clever thing to do. It just, you know, whenever I go up there, you know, it's about that first look, you know, in that first week, what they look like is something you want to remember for the rest of your life. Wow, Benji said we haven't updated these since Juliana. Actually, we need to do one of the twins, end of Leah. By the way, I don't want to steal the spotlight. I came to smile. Actually, we're into factoids, Benji. On Friday, we now doing you know, fun and factoids, and we're on to the factoids. Did you know, Benji, that prairie dogs kiss? And I've got allergies. Okay, so here we go. Prairie dogs are quirky creatures for a number of reasons. They're giant rodents. They dig up massive interconnected underground homes and they kiss. Well, they're actually touching their front teeth in order to identify one another. Can you imagine that? When they seem to be sharing a smooch. I thought that was really cute. I didn't know that. Ghost crabs growl using the teeth in their stomachs. Go figure that one. Crabs, well, thank Jody. Crabs may be able to intimidate other creatures with their claws, but if that's not enough, ghost crabs will growl at the enemies like a dog. However, unlike their canine friends, crabs make those fearsome noises using the teeth located in their stomachs. Now, did you know that crabs had teeth located in their stomachs? Yeah, I want to hear it as well, Sakura. So we'll try and find some. We'll if we'll do some research, see if we can find the sound, and if so, I'll put it on the Facebook page. How's that? Jody, make it. I'm sure Jody's already making that note. We'll see if we can find a bit of video with the sound of it, and then we'll put it up on the Facebook page for you. How's that? Now I know. You see, Jody is wonderful. How about this one? Did you know that the mantis shrimp, and by the way, I didn't know there was such a thing, and it's a highly colored one, has the world's fastest punch? Traveling about 50 miles per hour, when the shrimp punches, its little fist of fury, which of course isn't a fist at all, is accelerating faster than a .22 caliber bullet. I didn't know that one. Nice, Joe. You're doing really well with these. Okay, so what you need to look for is the mantis shrimp, like the praying mantis, but it's the mantis shrimp. See if you can, not now, please, don't interrupt the broadcast, but, later, have a look for that. And that always reminds me, it's funny how one thing will remind you of another. Did any of you ever see Mike Wallace interviewing Muhammad Ali? Now, if you don't know who Muhammad Ali was, he was a very famous boxer, and Mike Wallace was heading up 60 Minutes in those days, and he went to do an interview of Muhammad Ali, but Muhammad Ali has Parkinson's, and it is really, I want to tell you, it's one of the greatest memories I have of, sometimes you watch television and you go, that was an iconic moment. I am so glad I was watching television at that moment, because Muhammad Ali was busy, he had Parkinson's, so he was shaking a bit and he was having a bit of problem with his speech and everything else. And out of nowhere, what seemed like out of nowhere, he suddenly came with a left hook towards Mike Wallace. It was the last thing you expected. And it was like, it came from way back here and it came up and, he didn't hit Mike. But I want to assure you, the cameraman nearly dropped the camera. Everybody that wasn't expecting it was including yours truly, was sitting there going, what just happened? And of course, they replayed it about 6 times later on. But it was like, I was so glad to have seen it in reality, because the look on poor Mike Wallace's face was, can you imagine having, Muhammad Ali throw a punch at you? I think that would get my attention. But what I thought about afterwards was that maybe if Muhammad Ali, found out that he was getting too shaky or whatever, maybe throwing a punch helped him settle down. And I wondered about that, because people have really good compensatory reactions to things. I know if you read the Michael J. Fox will tell you about his Parkinson's, that, he acted for a long time with quite serious Parkinson's disease. He just, he and the camera people worked out a way that they didn't have to show his hands, because his hands were where the problem was. So he would, do a lot of his acting with his hands behind him, or his hands in his pockets, or all sorts of things. So they compensated a great deal so that people didn't have to see his hands, which I thought was really wonderful. Did you know that the world's, maybe you'd like to have a guess on this one. Have a guess as to which is the oldest domesticated dog. What do you think? And just to give you a hint, it goes all the way back to 329 BC. That's a long time. Sakura's been doing her research. That mantis shrimp looks like a lobster tail. It does, doesn't it? Very highly colored. Yes, and Jonas is saying that Michael J. Fox now plays parts of people suffering from Parkinson's, so he doesn't need to act. Yeah, wonderful. Okay, so let's wait for a while people get a chance to have a guess at which dog do you think is the oldest domesticated dog that we know of? I wasn't around in 329 BC, so I can't vouch for this personally, but, I know I'm old, but not that old. What do you think? The German Shepherd, Bernice thinks. Anybody else? I wonder if anybody will get it. Jodie is not allowed to participate, obviously, because she found it. Dum, 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 dum. Come on, anybody else with a guess? A hound of some sort, says Sandy. Actually, it was the Saluki. You know what that looks like, right? It's a very thin, elegant-looking dogs. And you've probably seen it in the murals and hieroglyphics of the time. So the Saluki dogs were revered in ancient Egypt, and they were kept by the as royal pets, and quite often were mummified after death. How about that? Didn't know that one. Yeah. And how about the fact that the oldest evidence of a domestic cat dates back 9,500 years? Yeah, it's that long-necked, thin dog. You're quite right, Bernice. That one. When you say it, you go, I should have thought of that. It's the one with Cleopatra. Yes, exactly. Looks almost like a deer, right? Now, here's a factoid that I didn't know. There are quite a few factoids here that I didn't know. Did you know that cats don't taste sugar? They don't have taste buds, sweet taste buds? So stop giving them sweet treats. It means nothing to them. It's just food. Ah, Bernice is saying, yes, I always thought it was a deer. Yeah, well, it does look like one, I must admit. All right, how about this one? Bottlenose dolphins. That would be Flipper, for those of you who remember that far back. Bottlenose dolphins are even more right-handed than humans. When they did the research, they say that 70% to 95% are right-handed. A minority say 5% to about 30% are left-handed, according to Scientific America. And the same holds true for the bottlenose dolphin. A look at the feeding behavior found that the animals were turning to their left 99.44% of the time, which usually suggests that they're right-handed, right side biased. Oh, sorry for the allergies. All right, now here's an interesting factoid. I'm going to let you guess on that one. For every single one human being on the planet, how many ants do you think there are? right? So how many ants for every human being? Would you say it's 1,000? Would you say it's 10,000? Would you say it's 100,000? And Sakura is saying, is it millions? It feels like that, doesn't it? Anybody want to take a guess other than Bernice? Ah, hi, Valdo. Yes, you're correct, of course, 1 million. So how many of you going? I'm not surprised about that. Did you know that there was one particular ant that lives in an area of Manhattan? If you've ever lived in the area of Broadway medians at 63rd and 76th Streets in New York, keep an eye on the ground for crawling critters. You might spot something very rare. That's where the Manhattan ant lives. I didn't know that one. Hi there, Valdo. Now then, did you know that some sharks glow in the dark? This glow helps sharks identify each other and even fight against infection on a microbial level. I didn't know that. Now, I'm sorry Lauren isn't here. She isn't here, is she? Because they're saying, did you know that the baby Tasmanian devils make lifelong friendships? we've really sparked interest now from Bernie's Jody. Isn't that cute? She has learned so much this evening. Right, if you have a best friend who you've been around since you were a child, then you have something in common with the Tasmanian devils. Research shown that Tasmanian devils form bonds when they are young that last for the rest of their lives. Right? I can hear the joy. Bernice is saying, I love glow in the dark. I did thank you both so much. It's our pleasure, Sakura. We like to bring you these little moments. Right? Now then, did you know that the housefly buzzes in the key of F? I didn't know that. For those of you who are musicians, when you hear a housefly buzzing around your home, you might be annoyed by the persistent sound. However, the next time it happens, try to soothe yourself by noting that that airborne pest is actually buzzing in the F key. And some of you are going, yeah, the F key. I added that. That wasn't in the words here. And if I find it, yeah, never mind. Yeah. Now this next, I'm sorry, Joe, but I had to add that. All right, how about this one? This one is amazing. Jody found out that the grizzly bear's bite is strong enough to crush a bowling ball. Did any of you know that? If you're going to be so interesting at the next party, right? You'll just be saying, did you know that the grizzly bear can crush a bowling ball? These creatures have a bite force of over 8 million pascals, according to National Geographic. That means that grizzly bears can literally crush a bowling ball between their jaws. God. Now, Jody, is there another name for the slow loris? It looks like something else, like a sloth almost. Anyway, a slow loris is the only venomous primate. I didn't know that. I didn't know that there were venomous primates. I mean, I know that some... Never mind. They may be cute, but their bite can kill. According to popular science, these adorable animals secrete toxins from a gland in the crook of their inner arms. Their bites have caused anaphylactic shock and even death to humans. You know, that's the one with the beautiful doe eyes. Looks so cuddly, but apparently not so much. Ah, so Bernie's saying it looks like a mix between a sloth and a tarsier. I've never heard of a tarsier. Jody, please make a note of that word. I'm going to have to look that up after the broadcast. Never heard of that. Now, this one you are allowed to query, but did you know that pigeons can do math? You might think that pigeons are not smart, but it turns out they're actually highly intelligent. In one 2011 survey published in the Journal of Science found that these birds are capable of doing math at the same level as monkeys. During the study, the pigeons were asked to compare 9 images, each containing a different number of objects. The researchers found that when the birds were able to rank the images in the order of how many objects they contained. How many of you going, I'd have to see that to believe it? Right? That's one of those ones where I'm really, and I've got a bridge I want to sell you. But if it was in the Journal of Science, I guess I have to believe it. Now, I didn't know this to be true, and I am a horse person, but did you know that male horses have way more teeth than their female counterparts? I did not know that. Another factoid, male horses have 40 to 42 permanent teeth, while females only have 36 to 40. The original purpose of those extra teeth was for fighting, of course. Interesting. Ah, here we go, the sloth again. The sloth can take up to a month to completely digest a single leaf. You know, really, do I care? For comparison, it takes an average human 12 to 48 hours to ingest and digest and eliminate waste from food. Bernice is saying maybe they have more teeth because they have bigger heads than females. Now, some of you will really relate to the koala bear when you hear this. Did you know that koala bears sleep up to 22 hours in a day? Oh, sorry, Jody, did I say that out loud? What was it? Yeah, what was it I said in that one broadcast? Yeah, this is an O.J. Simpson moment here. You know, it's, you know, I don't even really think that I hear myself half the time with these one-liners. When I was editing it, I'm going, really? You're putting on a glove and it's an O.J. Simpson moment. Yeah, but it did feel like that, I have to say. All right, so those cuties, the koala bears, sleep between 18 and 22 hours a day. That's what I need at the moment. Koala diets require a lot of energy to digest, which is why they've got to nap so much. That's my problem. I'm eating too much. I need more sleep. Now, how about this one? Did you know that dogs have way fewer taste buds than humans? Now, I don't know about you, but having owned dogs, I got a comment on this in a moment. Humans have approximately 9,000 taste buds, while dogs have only 1,700. And while they can identify the same 4 taste sensations as people, dogs are not fond of salt. I always thought they just sort of had one taste bud, which was, is that food? If so, I want it. How many of you have got dogs like that? It was just like, I don't really care what it is, but if you've got it in your hand, I want it. um, and so, but maybe my dogs were different. It was just like, do you know that this is an ice cube? And you're sure you want it? Okay. But I will say one thing: if ever, in my life I need to train a dog, I will always train before I feed a dog. All right, before they get their food, I always used to have a training moment. So they knew that if they did well with the training, they got their food. It was a motivational thing. But I also always carried honey ham cut up into little pieces. I had it in my pocket, in a bag in my pocket. And every time they did something right, they got a piece of honey ham. And you will be amazed what dogs will do for a piece of honey ham. And they were small little bits, they weren't sort of, a whole slice. It was just like a little square inch of it. Boy, you'll be amazed. You go, you want this? Okay, lie down, roll over, you get the honey ham. Sakura's saying, funny, my dogs would be human food. Give me, here, let me steal all of that. Yeah, I found that dogs really, if it's food they wanted. All right, which animal do you think has the thickest fur? And I'll give you a clue. It needs it to swim. Let's have a guess on that one. Which animal that swims do you think has the thickest fur? Polar bear? Wow, thanks for the donation, Beth. That's really kind of you. I appreciate that. So it's not the polar bear, but that's a really good guess, Bernice. Well done. Anybody else want to have a guess on that? Jodie's saying that's how they taught Taylor to go down the stairs with Honey Ham. He was afraid of stairs, but you told me how to train him. Oh, it's my pleasure. And am I correct? A dog will do almost anything for, Honey Ham, I think, because it smells so good to them. All right, so the answer to the skill testing question, which is which animal has the thickest fur? It's not easy to say, by the way. It happens to be the otter. They're thought to have up to 1 million hairs per square inch. Their fur consists of 2 layers, which is designed to trap a layer of air next to their skin so that their skin doesn't get wet. That makes a lot of sense, doesn't it? Okay, Jodie, this is a nice one. Reindeer's eyes turn blue in winter. I'm laughing because I'm going, and so does my skin. Anyway, the eyes of an Arctic reindeer change color through the seasons from gold to blue, adapting to extreme changes of light in their environment. What color eyes do I have, people? I'm not a reindeer. But I'm asking you because I have the biggest problem when I have to fill in forms, because when I was in England, they called this color hazel. And it's interesting because in North America, they call it, what do they call it? I think I have to put it down as green. Yeah, it does look gray now. Maybe my eyes have gone gray to match my hair. Oh, that would be a fashion statement, right? How fast do you think a deer can run? Do you think it's 10 miles an hour? Do you think it's 15 miles an hour? Do you think it's 30 miles an hour or 60 miles an hour? I'll give it to you within 5 miles per hour. What do you think? How fast can a deer run? Ah, two of you think 60. Interesting. 35. The white-tailed deer can hit a top speed of 35 miles an hour. Now, what about a reindeer? How fast do you think a reindeer can go? Not pulling Santa's sleigh, but, without the sleigh. We've got 180 days until that thing happens. But without the sleigh, how fast do you think reindeer can run? Do you have a guess on that one? Do you think they are faster or slower than a regular deer? And so the answer is they actually can run 50 miles an hour, quite a bit faster. I didn't know that. Now, this one, again, goes under the category of, yeah, really? I'd need to see that to believe it. Are you ready for this one, people? Get your thinking hats on. Now, it is said, and we'll find out from whom, but it is said that butterflies taste with their feet. Yuck! The receptors on their legs are 200 times stronger than the human taste bud. When a butterfly lands on a plant, they use these sensors to determine whether or not they're standing on something edible. How about that? That makes sort of sense, doesn't it? Interesting fact. I can't wait to get intelligent at something now. By the way, did you know that butterflies actually taste with their feet? Nobody's going to believe me. Oh, good bar story. You want to put money on that? Yeah, sure. Pity we're not allowed in bars anymore. All right, so how about this one? The orca whale. Do you know that it can speak dolphin? It's a multilingual whale. I didn't know that. Orcas housed with blue-nosed dolphins over a long period of time were able to replicate the dolphin language. Pretty intelligent beings, we think. Now, I'm going to tell you that the answer to this next thing is one of the provinces in Canada. Which province, if you happen to know the Canadian provinces, which province in Canada is the largest rat-free population area in the world? It's in Canada. Obviously they don't like the cold. And I didn't know this factoid. Good. I mean, I don't know about the rest of you, but let's give a round of applause to Jody for these. These are really interesting things. It turns out that Alberta in Canada has the largest rat-free populated area in the world, and that is really quite amazing to me. Now, some of you know the blue jay bird. Did you know that the blue jay is a ventriloquist? I didn't know this. The blue jay can mimic a hawk's call to scare away birds. It can actually mimic the hawk. So even though it's a little beautiful blue jay, it can sound like it's a hawk to scare other birds off. All right, now then, skill testing here, people. What color are flamingos naturally? And I just want to tell you that it's not pink. It is their diet that makes them turn pink. It's not their natural color. I didn't know that either. No, I know, Bernice. Yes, they are white, naturally. Well done, Bernice. They are white, but their diet of brine shrimp and algae turns them pink. All right, so Jody is saying the butterfly factoid didn't credit who originally quoted that fact. Well, I'm certain we can dig deeper into that one. Mr. Google's probably going to find us another source somewhere. All right, now this one is interesting. How heavy do you think a single elephant tooth is? Not the tusk, a tooth. Now, I have been within about 10 yards of a full-grown male elephant in the wild. And I want to tell you, you know, as big as they look on the movies or in the zoo, when you're actually out in the wild and you come around the corner and there is a male elephant flapping his ears at you, you just realize just how big they are. Right? You really need to, that is that is really scary. All right, so how much do you think a single elephant tooth weighs? You can do it in pounds, because I know that you guys talk in pounds. Because that's pretty scary to me. Anybody want to guess? Let me think. Is it the equivalent of a bag of sugar? £5. Good guess, Bernice. Good guess. Not right, but a good guess. Anybody else want to try that one? Because actually a single elephant tooth can weigh as much as 9 pounds. I did not know that. Interesting stuff. All right, and now I got you thinking. If you kept a goldfish in a dark room, what color would it turn? If you kept a goldfish in a dark room, it would change color. What color do you think it would turn? Beth's saying white. Yep, it would turn pale. Nice one, Beth, well done. All right, so here are a couple of skill testing questions. Is it true that an ostrich can run faster than a horse? And is it true that a male ostrich, for example, can roar louder than a lion? Two different questions. First one, do you think that ostriches can run faster than a horse? And if ever I've never ridden an ostrich. It was one of those things I always meant to do when I was in Africa and never did. And I'm not going to do it now, no. So do you think that an ostrich can outrun a horse? And the answer is yes. And do you think that a male ostrich can roar louder than a lion? King of the jungle. And the answer to that is also yes. How about this one? Did you know that cows can sleep standing up, but they only dream if they're lying down? And there we go. Nice ones, Jody. I really appreciate your hard work on those. That is amazing. really, really enjoyed them. So which were your favorite ones? Which ones did you really enjoy learning about? And Jody, I cannot think how long it must take you to find all these different facts, but we do appreciate them. But not only does she find them, but she cuts and pastes them so beautifully into a system for me. Oh, so Sakura really liked the shrimp with a punch. Okay. But if you can, learn something every day, and if you think about it, Jody must get such pleasure out of doing this, because why else would she do it? Oh, and the one about the shark that glows in the dark. You like that as well, yeah. So it's all about wow. And to me, life is all about get curious. And as I was saying, that I had never in my life. Wonder if Benji's still there. Benji is still in the distance, or are you long gone? Probably. But I was thinking that, I was really curious that I'd lived a lifetime and never tried to make fruit roll-ups. And I can assure you that now that I know how easy they are, I'll be making more. Yeah, the cow dreaming lying down. I didn't know that. So what I really encourage you to do is to understand that life is as interesting as we make it. And to me, people are always waiting for things to happen from the outside. Other people need to make me happy. Other people need to make me feel whole. Well, when you get interested in life, when you get interested in things, when you find humor in things, it's amazing. It's amazing how your life changes. When I knocked the whole bag of chow mein noodles across my floor yesterday, I just looked up to God and said, did you have to tell me you didn't want me to eat those that way? I had to blame God, right? But, which is like, seriously. And then I thought, well, maybe he tried to tell me a couple of times that I shouldn't be eating them. And I didn't listen. So he found a way to make me listen. Clunk. And they didn't fall nicely on their side, it fell face down. And so, I look at it and I think, when you can find humor in your life, when you can smile at your life, I find myself all the time going, nice one, Sal. Yep. And so one of the things I encourage you to do, please, as a Dear Mama Sal viewer, start keeping notes on your achievements of the week, the mistakes that happened during the week. Start keeping track of them. And because that's what we're going to be doing every week, is discussing them. And I think you'll find that a lot of funny things happen to you if you bother to keep notes on it. You just forget. And now what I'm trying to train myself to do, as these things happen in my life, I go to my one of my devices and I will pull up this week's not spreadsheet. I do it on a Google sheet. And, I just keep adding to it. Actually, I lie. I do it on Keep. I make notes in Keep. But what I'm amazed is how many notes I've got, that lined up for you guys by the time it gets to the next week. And so I really do encourage you to do that, because you'll find out that your life is a lot funnier than you thought it was, and that life is a lot more interesting. Jody, I wonder if I could ask a favor of you. Could you give us an update on how Lionel's injury is doing and what the update is on, did you ever find the guy who owned the pit bull that attacked Lionel, trying to get to Taylor? And I apologize that I haven't asked about that this week. It's been a little bit confusing. And while Jody is typing that, I'll get to the countdown. Thanks for the reminder. As you can hear, my voice is going. I really think I'm allergic to those pills. Isn't that funny? Thank you for mentioning the allergy thing. I never thought the fact that I was actually allergic to the anti-allergy pills. The antihistamines themselves is what I'm thinking. All right, Easter is 9 months away. Lent is, 9 months and 3 weeks, right? No, 9 months and 11 days. Lent is only 7 months and 25 days. That's about 8 months now. Valentine's Day is only 7.5 months away. Excuse me. Christmas, 181 days away, people. Start planning, please. We only have 5 months and 7 days to get our Christmas cards into the mail. And by the way, if you missed the lunchtime broadcast, one of my big mistakes this week, if you can believe this one. Okay, good night, Beth. Thank Jodie for the great broadcast. I merely repeat the words that she finds for me. For those of you, I sent a box of Pampers, a big one, to Jodie and Benji for little baby Leah. And I sent it to the wrong address. I sent it to their address from 7 years ago. How did I manage that one? I have no idea. I'm going to be contacting Amazon to see if anybody returned the box, because some stranger received a giant box of diapers this week, or at the beginning of the month. Wrong address. Yeah, anyway, US Thanksgiving is 5 months away. We've got only 127 days until we turn those clocks back again. Canadian Thanksgiving is 3 months away, and the American one is 5 months. Okay, we can do that. Jodie, did you manage to find out whether the Canadian tax thing and the American tax thing is still due in 18 days? Because that to me is because I noticed that the Canadians are now saying that if you were due, that they've extended the business one anyway, just so you know. I wondered if it's July 15th, right? So it is still the same. Okay, you got 18 days. Mercury is still in retrograde, for those of you who understand what that's all about. And will be until July the 12th, so just be very careful with what you do. We are now, the days are now getting shorter, you do know that, right? Mind you, if you're in the southern hemisphere like Lauren, they're getting longer now. But for us, you will notice that the days will be getting like a minute or two shorter every day. And it'll start showing up. It's a bit like anything else in life, right? You don't notice it, and suddenly you notice it. It is now, just so you know, we should check on this. It is now 8:43, and it's beginning to get to dusk. You know what I mean? It's not dark yet. I don't have any lights on, except in the cupboard. Hang on, I'll put the light on so you can see the difference. Did you notice a difference? Anyway, but the days will be getting shorter. So we'll be able to see, be interesting to see when it's dark outside in the Friday evening broadcast. We'll check on that one. We're now into summer for some of us, and some of us in the Southern Hemisphere are into winter. And I thought it was interesting that I have now been here 5 months and 2 weeks and a couple of days. Seems like yesterday, doesn't it? Isn't it weird? It seems like yesterday in a lot of ways. And I cannot believe that I'm now heading back towards winter again, because I arrived here in the middle of winter. You remember I got snowed in. How many of you can remember I was shoveling snow in my runners? my slip-on runners. And the one of the reasons I really need to lose weight is I would really like to be able to get into some winter shoes this year, but I don't think I'm going to. So I may have to go buy some giant size shoes just so I can, you know, move snow in them. When I say shoes, I do mean, you know, nice fur boots. You know, it's just like I can't do another. Maybe I can. It just looked so strange. I was out there shoveling in my slip-on runners. Not everybody does that. But I must admit that my feet stayed dry, which is the important thing. Isabel is also thanking us for putting the broadcast together. And Jodie's saying, I do all the work, but you know I don't. I just read the stuff. Jodie does the work. But I must admit that I really, it's very interesting to read something, and sometimes I've never seen it before, to just read it and try and get the right emotion behind it. And Jodie, I hope I do you justice, you know, because I literally, you know, will turn a page and look at the next one for a split second and go, okay, I think I got this. You know, it's what my mind is thinking as I start to read it. And then, you know, it's just like, because you're never quite sure where it's going to end up. And that's one of the tricks. So, Jodie, we will never have the words to thank you for all of this, especially when you had such a difficult week. And it's, so you did find out who the owner was, and what's the next step? That's what I would like to know. You say you found out the owner of the pit bull, and what is the next step that you have to take? Or do the police take the next step? Or has he offered to pay? I think you would have worded it differently. I think you would have said, we found him, and had he offered to pay? I don't think he offered to pay. I really hope that you know, go and get a court date, because I think it's really important you do that. But the difficulty is, we wait for the bill, then we forward it and see if he pays, and if not, a court case. Okay. Yeah. The question is, you know, who's got that sort of money lying around? Probably not too many people. And the other thing is that if he is bankrupt already, you know, then what happens? I wonder. That's why, to me, I think I'd want to talk to a legal mind about that, because I don't think you should be on the hook for it. Yeah, it looks like it's going to cost about 9,000. Yeah, that's what I understood. So what I'm saying is, I definitely, if you've got a friend of a friend or somebody through the church that's a legal mind, or even, you know, check it out on Google or something, because it'll be interesting to see the liability law about that. I don't even know what the ruling would be in Canada. But everything in my gut says that doesn't make sense to me that you would be on the hook when you were the victim. But if he is unable to pay the bill, well, so are you, all right? So why would you have to pay it over him? Interesting. I'll be interested to hear the answers on that one. All right, everybody. So I hope you've learned a little today. I certainly have. And I hope you have a wonderful weekend. Is anybody doing anything special we need to know about? I know that Benji and Judy are going to try and sleep. But it sounds like little Leah is being a wonderful baby. And so they probably will get way more sleep than they're used to. Okay, so the animal control officer says the owner is the one on the hook. Yes, that is as far as the animal control person is, but I wonder whether the hospital feels the same way. The hospital will say, okay, but we actually treated Lionel. Okay, Bernice, when is your birthday? You're saying that your husband is taking you to a seafood place as an early birthday celebration. So we obviously need to, I don't think we have Bernice's birthday in the system. July the 4th as well. Okay. Jody, let's get that into the system, please. So that's not very far away, is it? So we wish you a very happy birthday right now, in case we forget later. Let's cover that base right now, Bernice. Happy birthday. And for a very small fee, I will promise not to sing. Okay, so have a wonderful birthday, and all of you have a wonderful weekend. We will see you again on Sunday for our Soul Sunday broadcast, and I'm going to go and put my feet up and try and get rid of the rest of this edema. And, you know, Jody, just so that you do know, my feet are better today than they've been in a week. So everything that I'm doing is beginning to work, even though I'm not being perfect. And Jody, before I go, all right, I just wanted to show you. So it looks a little strange, but this was a bread pudding with chia seeds, cinnamon, and nutmeg. And I want to tell you, warmed up with a little drizzle of honey over the top of it. Really amazing, Jody. And I put it into sort of 1 cup containers. So I go, let me know what I'm eating here. Yes, the whole, I want to tell you that the feet were really quite scary. You know this, I know, from your lymphoderma, but you know, when you're scared that your skin is actually going to pop because it is so tight, that is a horrible feeling. And I literally could hardly walk, and I certainly couldn't walk outside because I couldn't get any shoes on, and I know you know that one as well. And so, but I got there. And I'm going to go and do the same again. All right, everybody, have a wonderful weekend. We'll see you on Sunday. This is DearMamaSal thanking Jody for putting everybody at peace and put a smile on their face this evening. And we will see you later. This is DearMamaSal saying, yeah, right. Keep on smiling. And please, whatever you do, remember to look after one another. But you all know this, right? Remember to look after yourself as well. And I am going to be able to close this broadcast any minute. But it requires great coordination, which I haven't got this evening. I can do this. There's a delay on it. There we go. Goodbye. Maybe.